Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. And if you're new, thanks for stopping by. This is Amy, and today we are gathered here today for a special uh, book talk Thursday. Today is the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, Normandy landing in France in World War II. So, you're not a big history buff like I am, then you'd be interested, but it's okay. This is going to be a little bit different book talk. I still have some books to talk about, but they're mostly going to be about the books I have to uh, for in remembrance of D-Day. And then if you are interested in watching any kind of memorial service or anything like that, YouTube has a few things I found. I have on the background. Of course, France is probably 8, 10 hours ahead of us. So, but there is in Normandy this year. They have a celebration every year, but this was a special one because it was the 80th anniversary, and they did have a lot of the World War II veterans that served and were part of the Normandy Day invasion there, and a lot of things that you can find on YouTube. That is actually um, I think it was French TV. That that I found on YouTube was France 24 in English. France 24 English. That's the YouTube. There comes Minnie. Um, Memorial. I was watching earlier. I just left it on. Anyway, yeah. So today, wow, 80 years. That's a long time. But again, it's really not that long ago. But yeah, if you don't know anything about it, that was the Allied forces got together, and D-Day was also it's called Operation Overlord, but we know it as D-Day. And I Googled and I was wondering what the D in D-Day was. Well, it says the D stands for day, but to say day was kind of weird, so they just went with D-Day. Um, works. But yeah, so I have a few books. My online. I don't have any. I don't think physical books on my shelf that are specifically D-Day related. I have World War II stuff, but not a wide expanse of World War II. Also, but on my online library, I have the audio for D-Day Girls. I've been listening to. I think it was 22%. Yeah. That's very interesting. That is about, let's see here. Let me bring it up. That is about um, the, let's see. In 1942, the Allies were losing. Germany seemed unstoppable, and every able man in England was on the front lines. To set Europe ablaze, in the words of Winston Churchill, the Special Operations Executive, SOE, whose spies were trained in everything from demolition to sharpshooting, was forced to do something unprecedented. Recruit women. 39 answered the call, leaving their lives and families to become saboteurs in France. So, yeah, so that's about what happened with recruiting these women to go to France to help fight in the war and sabotage uh, the Nazi German party. And yeah, that's I found that very fascinating so far. Just the things that they were trained in everything, like it said, and they these different women and they did parachuting and shooting and I mean a wide variety of things that these women were trained to do. And so I'm just at the part in the story where and this Sarah Rose is the author, and I met she actually got all this from diaries and where did it say? She, I read somewhere she it was all from like it all written down. Um, gosh, sorry, I'm reading. Oh, here we go. So it draws on recently declassified files, diaries, and oral histories to tell the thrilling story of three of these remarkable women. Um, so yeah, so she's taking in this story and taking three of those women from those oral histories and written histories and created the story, which it's kind of like you would, write a novel, but it's based on factual stuff. So, a novel, memoir, not necessarily complete like a nonfiction book is written, but yeah, it's so far it's really interesting, and I'm anxious to see what happens to these three women. So anyway, yeah, so that was D-Day Girls. That was one of the main books I wanted to get for June. In June, I'll be reading other um, books, nonfiction, about. I have one on hold, and I thought it would be in by now, but it's not. It's actually D-Day: The Battle for Normandy by Anthony Beaver. It's a nonfiction, and um, about the Normandy invasion and the liberation of Paris. So there's that one. I don't have that yet. It's on hold. I'm supposed to be getting it soon, but we'll see how. Like I said, I'll be reading all of June on this topic, and I can go back to my thing. I also have The Bedford Boys, which is an audiobook, and that's about I want to say it was 12 men from this small town who um, it's a true story of 21 young men who were killed during the first horrifying minutes of D-Day. So all of these 21 young men came from the same town, same small town of Bedford. And they were killed during the first few minutes of D-Day. So this is like a interviews, survivors, relatives, diaries, letters. But this is an audiobook, and it's by Alex Kershaw. So I found that interesting that 21 guys from all the same town, a small town at that, uh, died that that day. And sorry, I've had a cold. I've been sick, and so that's why I didn't do Tuesdays book talk. I have got something cold or who knows what, but it's been going around and I got it. So I'm a little stuffy. I might be coughing. Excuse me ahead of time. Um, yeah. So I feel a lot better today, although let's pause for the weather update because it's going to be extremely hot. Well, extremely for me is like over 110. So we're not there yet. Although it said it was going to be close, and it's gotten a little cooler than expected. Right now, here in Northern California, and it is Thursday, June 6th, not 1944. It's 2024. It says it's 89 degrees already, and I have it's 10:12 in the morning. Okay, you'll be seeing this a little later today as soon as I get this up. But it's supposed to be, well, it did go down 1 degree. It's supposed to be 105. Yesterday said it was going to be 106. Um, yeah, tomorrow is 100. and then we're going to drop down to mid 90s for a couple of days, and then we're popping right back up on Monday to like 102, and then we're going to 105 and 103. I mean, I can easily stand like just low 100s, and I'm talking like 100 to maybe 103. Anything at specifically 105 is a little extra, I must say. And then usually in July, like sometimes around the 4th of July, sometimes in mid-July, we get a couple of weeks of like triple digits. With that being said, triple digits is like 110 plus. Last year, I think we had a couple of weeks. I think we did a week, and then we might have had a little break, and then we had another week. Yeah, that's pretty miserable that time of year. That's why we do inside crafts. And if you could see behind me, a little plug. I have some aprons. I do sewing crafts and all kinds of crafts. But I finished some aprons. Can't really see them. There's a glare. Um, so we do inside crafts when it's that hot. But anyway, yeah, today will be 105. Hopefully that's a lie. And it will change to a few degrees lower than that. So that is your weather update for June 6th, 2024, Thursday. You're welcome. Happy to be here. Anyway, so that's that. Get that out of the way. So back to our books and our remembrance of D-Day. And another book I have, an audiobook, is Code Girls by Liza Mundy. And this one is about recruited by the U.S. Army and Navy from small towns and elite colleges. More than 10,000 women served as code breakers during World War II. While their brothers and boyfriends took up arms, these women moved to Washington and learned the meticulous work of code breaking. Their efforts shortened the war, saved countless lives, and gave them access to careers previously denied to them. A strict vow of secrecy nearly erased their efforts from history. Now, through dazzling research and interviews with surviving Code Girls, best-selling author Liza Mundy brings to life this riveting and vital story of American courage, service, and scientific accomplishment. So that sounded really interesting. Again, that's audio. Oh, it, dogs are barking. Minnie, you could see Minnie right there. Daisy's gonna get off the bed. You probably can't, because when I do these videos and I hear the dogs barking and I think you're hearing them, and then when I watch the playback, I can't hear them, and they're barking like right here. So if you can't, that's great. Onward and upward. So yeah, so right now I have in my basket, or my basket, I do a lot of online shopping, obviously. In my online library, the Libby app, I have the D-Day Girls, which I'm currently listening to, and then there's the Bedford Boys and the Code Girls, and I'm waiting on. I had some other things in for the D-Day Remembrance I wanted to put in for June, but there was just a lot of that would have been a lot of heavy reading, and I didn't know if I was going to get through June with it. I mean, I can read it any time. It's not like, you have to read it in June. But the one I wanted was the D-Day Battle for Normandy. I'm waiting. Um, it says 2 weeks, but it says I'm also the first in line. There's one copy in use and two people waiting. So I don't know. I'm still on hold. But that is about. So this is the D-Day Battle for Normandy. Antony Beevor, Beevor. This is renowned historian Antony Beevor, the man who single-handedly transformed the reputation of the military history, presents the first major account in more than 20 years of the Normandy invasion and the liberation of Paris. This is the first book to describe not only the experience of the American, British, Canadian, and German soldiers, but also the terrible suffering of the French caught up in the fighting. draws upon his research in more than 30 archives in 6 countries, going back to the original accounts and interviews conducted by combat historians just after the action. So that should be interesting. It has a lot of firsthand accounts, and the fact that it's going back to the original accounts just after that happening, so it's fresh in people's minds of that event. But yeah, I think it's an interesting day. It's a, a remembrance day. It's a special remembrance day. All these years, and I did on the YouTube when I was watching earlier. In France, well, it has it on the thing right now. They have this really cool memorial. I don't know if that's something. I know they've had a memorial there at Normandy. They have a cemetery uh, for those who died, and I think also that if they fought there and then they die, I think they can be interned there if they choose to be. I'm not sure about that, but I think so. But they have this other like pillars and things. It was really cool. So I don't know if that how new that is, but um, that was really neat to see. But yeah, so there's a few. There'll probably be quite a few YouTube things on if you have YouTube, and then also probably on your regular TV channels there might be something. I don't know. I watch a lot of YouTube for stuff like that. So and then of course you can find on the internet a lot of things. Especially on my Facebook, people are posting things about remembrance and stuff like that, and I've posted a few things I found. But yeah, it's just a good day to. I mean, it's always a good day to remember every year. It's not like this. You just remember this year, and it's not. It's you should remember every year because it was a significant turn in World War II when the Allies landed at Normandy, and so many of our men, uh, not just American men, but other countries that joined in the Allied forces, uh, were killed. And my, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have relatives that were at Normandy, survived or died, and we had in our family on my mom's side there was I lost my note. Um, I think I don't know on my mom's side somebody one of their relatives um perished. Two brothers, I believe. Where is my? I can't. Oh, one moment. One moment. Get my note. Okay, I made a note just for this day, and yeah. Uh, now let's see. We're in June now. I had to get my planner out. My wonderful, exciting planner. And yes, here's my notes. So, my my grandfather on my mom's side, his sister, her two sons were killed in World War II, at Normandy, or one at no. So she had two sons that were killed. In, I don't know how many sons she had, but one was killed at Normandy and one was killed in France 2 months later. So yeah, that and then apparently she had three sons because it says the third son was sent home. So the whole story, you might have seen the movie Saving Private Ryan, the whole thing about family and their sons and their surviving son. The other sons are killed, and you have one surviving son. Then they get sent home. You can Google it. Plus, and Saving Private Ryan. Speaking of Saving Private, I just want to say I love that movie. And when I was watching the French earlier, I'm just rewatching it. I noticed in the audience, they went through the audience, and Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks were there at the in France at the Normandy ceremony today. And I thought that was really cool because they were, well, Steven Spielberg directed Saving Private Ryan, and of course, Tom Hanks was one of the main characters in Saving Private Ryan. He wasn't Private Ryan, but um, And so I thought that was really cool that they showed up and were there. And that movie, I just think, is just magnificent, and it is such a good. I mean, I've never been in war or the military or anything like that, but as far as the idea of seeing it on screen, a well, modern film, but representing that era, uh, it was magnificent. It was the most realistic, if not realistic, war movie I've seen. Cinematically, acting, right? I mean, it was just the cinematography was just awesome. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's an emotional. It's graphic. It is graphic. It's about war, and it shows what happens in war. And but Saving Private Ryan, that's one of my top movies of all time. It's just it's wonderful. Just as I mean, Steven Spielberg just does a great job directing his films because Schindler's List was just as emotional and great, and love it. But yeah, so mhm, that's about it on my notes, I guess. Then well, if you want to look it up, the Sole Survivor Policy by the U.S. Department of Defense, Directive 1315.15. That's for Special Separation Policy for Survivorship, I think it's called. But that's about family members. Um, well, that's I think is about protect family members of family from a draft during. Yeah, I don't know what that one is, but anyway, you can look that up. Um, but anywho, that was. There is also in the early 1940s, Congress enacted the Sullivan Law. This is following the death of five Sullivan brothers from Des Moines, Iowa. This is my note. I got it off the internet. They were on the same ship that sank in the Pacific. The law provided that members of an immediate family would not be placed together in harm's way. So that means if you have brothers that all go into the military in the same branch, they cannot serve, say, on the same ship together or in the same, you know, the same to ensure that hopefully, hopefully they all survive, but that someone in that family will survive. But yeah, so there's lots of things, excuse me, lots of things you can Google on the internet. But yeah, that's just a few things. But yeah, my grandfather's sister would be a great aunt, I guess. She had three sons, two died, and they sent the third one home. Anyway, I found that interesting. My mom's bit of family um, ancestry history. But yeah, I had a bunch of other um, books I was going to have on the list, but I thought, this might be a little overwhelming if I keep adding a lot of these books because there was Utah Beach was another one I was going to have, and I decided to cancel that one. That was by Joseph Baleski. I don't know. Then there was Assault on Juneau. That was another book, and yeah, there's just a lot. I mean, you can Google, see how many things if you're interested in that. I'm sorry, this isn't necessarily a fiction book talk day. It's more of a commemorating and history talk, I guess. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to pop on here because I know I didn't do it Tuesday. Like I said, I was pretty sick and under the weather, so I'm getting better. I probably sound terrible, but I feel like 100% better. Although I will say I kind of without my taste or sense of smell, so eating's been interesting. I haven't really I had coffee yesterday the first time in uh, a few days since I got sick, and I didn't enjoy it because I couldn't taste it, I couldn't smell it, and it was not enjoyable. And I'm getting like slight hints of taste back. Um, no, I don't have COVID. Um, and I've had my COVID booster already too. That doesn't mean that you won't get it, but this is something completely different. Uh, but yeah, it's interesting when you can't smell or taste anything. It's like I'm hungry, but it's not enjoyable. So I am getting hints of smells and taste coming back. So it is coming back. And this had happened to me before, probably a few years ago, maybe I had this happen. And that was probably the first time it happened. It was really weird. And it's just really hard to enjoy your chocolate ice cream, your coffee, anything deliciously fun. Um, so just hope I get it back soon. But anyway, so yeah. So today is Thursday, June 6th, the 80th anniversary of D-Day. And we thank and dedicate this book talk to those who served. And we're grateful and thankful. And we hope nothing like that ever happens again. Um, but yeah, there's lots of things out there you can research, or you could watch the memorials on YouTube. There's just a lot of different things. You can probably just scroll through your Facebook. Um, yeah. So I just like to say thanks for stopping by if you're new here. Normally we do a lot of fiction books and I like a lot of thrillers and um, suspense, mystery. I have a little dabble of horror, stuff like that. But I like all kinds of genre um, of books. I read all across all genres. Um, there's some I read less of, and some I read more of. But then if I am interested in the story, I will pick up the book and I will want to read it. But okay, so I'm just gonna let you go today. I'm gonna let you go. You can go whenever you want. Um, yeah, I'm gonna let myself go. I'm gonna let myself go. We're gonna depart here, and then I have a lot more crafts to do. It's gonna be hot. I have to check. We have um, kitties outside that we make sure we check on regularly, like just about every hour out there, checking on them, making sure they have water and they have a shade. I watered the lawn a little bit yesterday, so it would be cool. And I noticed this morning some of the cats were laying on the lawn because it was cool because I had watered it. So I'll probably turn the water on later. Refilled the bird bath of water. I filled up the bird food yesterday because the birds have been a little mad at me because I haven't filled their bird food up for a few weeks, and so the birds and I might be on better terms now that they have water too. So, and actually the cats climb up there and drink the bird water. So I don't, they have clean water. We leave out for them multiple times a day. But yet the cats like to drink the bird water, the bird bath water. I don't, we have strange things that go on here. But, again, thanks for coming by. Um, happy Thursday. Have a good, rest of your week, and you cross your fingers and have high hopes. And we'll be back here on Tuesday, and I will be feeling hopefully a ton better, and it will get a little cooler. And yeah, so thanks again. Bye.